some juice, Mother?
Yes, please.
Nope, no more food. You're done. It's past 6 o'clock. Nope. Hi, Nathan. Hope you're well. Happy it's always a weekend for me. My days are always the same. And when they change, it's because I moved. That is how my days. It's like we ebb and flow, and we create a pattern, a schedule that we live by, and then it's like you gotta move. Oh, okay. So pack all the shit up that you can muster, and put it wherever else. But we don't care because people in the world don't care anymore, and everyone's gonna get their taste of what it's like to just come across somebody that just does not care. Doesn't care if you're on the street with your mother, who doesn't freaking remember 5 minutes. So she never knows if she's hungry or not. So I just always ask her if she's hungry, and then about every hour and a half she is, so. Yeah, life is a good time. And they're not making it any easier for people. And I'm like, man, I look around every day and I just really try not to get angry at all the people that just play. They just play. They're just living the best versions of their life. Oh, manifesting all the wonderful things. I wouldn't say that necessarily. And the thing is energy, it swings. It changes. I don't know what I did, but I've just freaking cleared so much karma in the last 6 years. I don't even know what to. I don't even know. The whole time I've been doing my YouTube videos, the stories are just. I mean, they're pretty remarkable. And since then, the corp of the United States of fucking craptasticness. This country has just turned to shit, man. It could have been something great. It still could be, but first now it has to dissolve completely and be rebuilt again. Now we have to go through the crap because people couldn't just come into the best versions of their life. And we had to be run by a bunch of weird, twisted, opportunistic, egotistical, satanic fucking perverts. And it's coming out. Because the truth always comes out. People can hide it and they can cover it up and they can pay people off to keep their mouths closed. But the thing of it is, the realities of how these people behave, it's still known. It's still known. And it's all frickin' pageantry. And I wonder what the earth could be if it was allowed to be organic. If people were just allowed to conduct their lives and live their lives in the fashion that they want, rather than perpetuating these ideologies of nonsense and bullshit and making fucking scumbag muskrats oh so rich. Nice costume there, muskrat. Nice costume. Now you living for the Baphomet out loud. Out loud. So all the things that people like me have been saying about people like you just. And that thing was like $7,000 or some shit. Red shoes kind of reminds me of red shoes. So why would, what kind of leather is that? What kind of skin is that? You know? I mean, you're in Bram Stoker's freaking castle. I mean, it is All Hallows Eveline. You know? A lot of contracts signed. Yeah, we know who people are. We know who people are, man. Anybody that's in the limelight, man, they sold their soul. They did. They sold their soul. They sold their soul. And wouldn't that be cool if the world was made to be an organic place? And we could have had it. We could have had heaven on earth. And now we're going to have freaking this Cuba, and people are going to die. People are going to die all over the place for all kinds of reasons. I mean, they already are freaking jumping on bridges and then they collapse. And then, the phantom crowd rush and the sweat. I'm like, anyway. I mean, it's turnover's high. It's Scorpio season. It always is Scorpio season. Now it's more concentrate because people aren't getting it. Or people are. People are getting it. Now, what are they going to do with it? That's what I want to see. All these people that keep making freaking all this money, it's winter. There's still a lot of people that live on the streets that don't want to and don't even have means to stay warm. Yep. There ain't no non-for-profit for helping them. Ain't no billionaires freaking making, warming stations, stuff like that. People aren't open in their homes because they're druggies and they're crazy. And yeah, let's hope other people don't need these help because it's just not there. And I'm trying to tell people that the cracks of society are getting wider. And then, dude, I'm so tired of the whole freaking the whole junkies or poverty, because old what's her face, her husband who just got hammered, dude's a freaking, oh god, they're so dirty. They're all so dirty and they're all so gross. And I've seen these people my whole entire life. And I never get why they're in charge. And then it's like, oh, it's because somebody has something on them. And then they're a puppet. But just keep thinking about what this place can be if there weren't so many puppets. If people weren't in people's pockets. Things are gonna, all fronts are saying it. All fronts. My guts are saying it. Things are just gonna be freaking crazy. Even for my standards. Just more violence, because people are freaking out. They're just freaking out. They're so fearful and they're so afraid because they don't have anything to believe in. And not only that, they don't have anything to believe in outside themselves that they can rely on to know that you're going to be okay. You don't have to be afraid. And if you're afraid all the time, you're only going to draw things near you more so that you fear. What you fear, you draw near. So people, it would behoove people to find, either people are going to get closer to God or they're going to get closer to freaking all the other and end up sucking ball sack like all the mola and all that dirty stuff. See, all of those gods, it's just easier to go along with them because you can do whatever you want, and that's how you serve them, is just living self-will and squandering all your money and not helping. And but saying that you do and causing confusion and putting chips in monkey brains and causing confusion. What is he, a good guy? No, the muskrat is. There's nothing good about the muskrat. He's just another freaking rich kid. Just a entitled freaking D-bag. Yep. Never got nothing on his own. I mean, yeah, no, he did get some stuff on his own, but he didn't. He if he wouldn't have gotten the foundation, no. It's all freaking deck of cards. It's the deck is all stacked, and I can't stand he looks like a muskrat to me. He does. He looks like a muskrat to me. I never could stand. I'm like, people kept talking about him. I'm like, what are they talking about this guy for? Because I lived in Omaha, and I know that. I mean, that's where PayPal is, and he was one of the starters of that. But I'm never impressed by all the people that are. I'm never impressed by people that mainstream are impressed by. Not when they are. Maybe early when they're obscure, or late after they've fizzled out. But I don't usually like things that everybody else likes. Because everybody else likes things like, I don't know, like Jackass. I hated that show. I'm like, why do people want to watch people freaking do stupid stunts and hurt themselves? I do not understand this at all. Why is this entertaining? And then it became America's #1 movie. And I'm just like, dude, dumbing of society has begun. You just give people stupid stuff to do, and they're too busy doing that, and they don't want to freaking evolve as a spiritual being. They don't want to even recognize that they have a spirit. But what do people think happens? That when you die, it's just a dirt nap. You're just done. You're just dead. That's what the people across the street believed. They didn't believe. I think they're Mormon. But they had a church, and they had a big old house, and they're nice. They helped me load my van when I left Oregon. I had to leave so much stuff. Oh, my God, it was sad. Don't think about it, Marge. But you can't take this stuff with you, and we've had to start over so many times, It's just, I've gotten a lot of practice in detachment. But sometimes I'd like to be attached to things. I always wanted the big family. I never could get the big family. I couldn't even be a part of my own family. I'm thinking about mustering up the courage to ask my dad about why they lied to me about my birth. My biggest fear of doing that is like, I don't know if he would come clean. And I hate getting yelled at. And I don't want to get yelled at. So, I don't know. But there's always been this shroud of secrecy, because I don't even know if Mom remembers or not, because she blocked so much stuff out. So he would be the only one that I could get the answers from. And if he doesn't want to tell me, then he won't tell me, and I'll still not know. So, but I don't know my birth story. I don't know any of it. Because what I was told, I found out was a lie. That darn ancestry. Because if you get the full premium, it'll show things like divorce paper records and stuff like that. And you and Greg got your divorce in 1972, the same time my uncle and his wife got divorced. See? And I wasn't born till 74. And my parents have hated each other so much my whole entire life that I haven't been in the same room with both of them since high school. We all went to eat for when I graduated in 1992. And then I got my 10-year sober chip, and Mom wouldn't go. She didn't want to be around him. So she didn't go see it. Yep. So I know a lot about people that do things for themselves because it's just easier and more comfortable, but that ain't going to make the world a better place. People got to step out of their comfort zone and start doing things that they don't like doing. Yep. Me included. I know in what area I do, but I don't know. It's like there's so much corruption. What do you do? I mean, I've been fighting against corruption. That's why I only did 6 years in the Air Force, is because there's so much corruption. I couldn't even stand it. It was so much. It was so wasteful, and they just didn't care. They had a fuel line that ran from Texas to Nebraska for one little building. If that is not the biggest pile of shit. And it's just stuff like that. It's just decade after decade. And then, boom. Ooh, let's create all these. Instead of creating means to live, let's create all these, Raytheon, all these freaking Northrop and all those. Let's just create things to freaking dissolve people and mankind to serve their shadow gods, their dark lords. Yep. Because that's all it is, killing people. Because there ain't nothing good come from it. Freedom is a state of mind. It's not something a government allows you to have. And what do people do with that freedom? What are they doing with the freedoms that they have? Living the best version of their lives. Just more people with the same background on this Instacrap and Twitter and stuff like that. But I do think more and more people are waking up. I'm so far from any place, though. I mean, we are in Obscuresville. I mean, we are, now that we're here, I'm just trying to make it the best place and make it as comfortable as possible for everyone. Me too. I walked mom and I did a couple of laps out in the yard today, and then we walked across the street and looked at the stream. What'd you think of the stream, Ma? You like it? When it's warm enough, when it's warmer, we can sit on the porch and we can listen to it if you want. So, a lot of things are dissolving. People's perceptions, people's ideologies. A lot of people are like, I remember in my job, I've always been in a customer service kind of capacity. And depending on the company, it's like we really had to I remember I applied for this one job and they wanted business professional dress for the IT staff. That's like suits. Every day. You're climbing around on the floor, but you'll be in a suit? No, that was weird to me. That didn't make sense to me, but I don't know. I don't work for places that you got to sign an NDA or non-disclosure, because they're usually up to no good. They're usually up to stuff that I don't want to be a part of. I know that's why I couldn't get a job at any place in Oregon, is because I'd go in there in my interview and I'd be like, I'm a person of integrity and I'm not going to do anything that isn't above board. And they didn't like that. Because they're all, they can tell. They eat their shame and their freaking how shady they conduct themselves. That's what I used to do. I was almost 200 pounds. I know all about it. I never really had shame, though. But I can tell when people have shame. Because I have had shame. I just haven't had it a lot. There is so many times, because it became evident to me that there's so many times that people thought that I should be ashamed. And I'm like, I'm not. I'm not ashamed. I don't even know what that would. I get bashful, I get embarrassed, but as far as shame, though, that's just something that I think that people have been have just something else that people try to impose upon people. But that's why I was almost 200 pounds, is because I wasn't speaking my truth. I was going along with what everybody wanted me to do, and I felt like a little pinball. And I was spread thin, and I was going to a lot of meetings, and then the weight started coming off actually when I started living for me. And then I started speaking out more about, not agreeing with people and stuff like that, I mean, everybody has a right to see things different. I mean, there are very few people on this planet that are actually having the same experience. I mean, if anybody. I mean, everybody's... So how many of that... So they say there's 6 billion, 7 billion... I don't think... They lie about the numbers. Dude, what freaking government federal agency is freaking so... that they're going to count everybody? It's just... It's an unrealistic thing to think that anybody knows how many people are on this planet. It's silly, especially with, like, with all the people that do die. We never know the numbers, like that, like when volcanoes and stuff like that, that people didn't live, like, wow, when the geography is changing, and that's what's coming up this week. Dude, like, all the astrologers are talking about it, Vedic and tropical, it don't matter, it's gonna be a whoa week. I'm just gonna unpack, and today I went over to the other place and cleaned out the refrigerator and the stove and stuff like that, and man, I'll just feel so much better when I don't have to go over there anymore. I'll feel better, but I got a little ways to go, and I'm just getting tired, and I don't have any juice in the fall anyway. It's my Scorpio moon. I just want to freaking just stay in the dark, and my lights broke. I tried to plug in my hangy lights, and see, that's the thing. You should always plug them in first, just test them before you hang them up, because I did it backwards. I hung them all up and then plugged them in, and they're broke. So they're one of those that it was like one of those cool purchases, and now that's probably out of business, or I don't know. I'm not really down with buying stuff from frickin' China. I'm kind of actually really kind of bummed. And maybe that'll be a part of the shift, is that people will start making things, manufacturing things, stop being so lazy in this country, and go back to putting things together here instead of frickin' cutting costs and having it done in a frickin' China, who's trying to frickin' isn't really a big fan of us anyway. So, come on, man. Of all the places the earth could be, this is the best that we can do? Come on. It's just, but it's dissolving, so it don't matter. It don't matter. We're coming to that collective wave of bullshit where it's like, that's it. People are like, I can't even take it anymore. I mean, it's, it's that me on that day when I'm just bitching so much that I'm just like, stop. I don't even want to hear the sound of my own voice anymore. Just start naming off stuff that you're grateful for, right? I feel like that's what the collective wave of bullshit is leading to very soon. Is just like, no, man, we can't keep going on like this. We can't. Everybody comes to that point in their life. I've come to it a few times. It's a spiritual awakening. It's, I don't like the way I've been living. I'm going to live a new way. But then you got to have the discipline and the fortitude and the moxie to move your life in the direction in which you want it to go. See, I'm like a, where, okay, God, wherever you want. Because when I ran the ship and we went to Oregon, it's like life exploded for me. And so that's when I made the decision to turn over my will over to God, as I understand. Good orderly direction. You know, all the positive parts of all the what all the religions are trying to get people to do is just not kill and cause harm and suffrage and all that stuff. Just don't be ugly. More and more people are talking about the ugly people, how they're not even human, and why don't we focus on the ones that want a better place to be, you know? I don't even have kids, but man, it makes me sad that freaking they don't get to have the same experiences that I did when I was younger. That there's just the world is just riddled with fear. You know? I was listening to what's that guy's name? Thomas something like that. Well, I just said how the world was riddled with fear. I looked down at the phone. Oh, it's 7:17. I like that number. It feels nice. It said, and the headline says, "I'm so scared." And then it's new 911 calls from yet another shooting. You know, why do people shoot people? Because they're sad and they're mad and they're angry and nobody listens to them. So they want people to pay attention to them. So I was listening to this guy earlier, and he was talking about how he was righteously. Aw, Cuts. I missed Cuts. I missed him. Thomas Sheridan II. How he's righteously angry, and that made me think about justifiable anger, and how that'll kill you just as much. It's all anger, man. It's just straight up toxicity. Pay attention. I know when people get mad. I paid attention, and I noticed it. That when I have freaking bad days and I yell and I get mad, that it literally leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And I can think of, like, in the last 2 years, 3 years, 3 times that it's happened. And I don't like that. I don't like it. It's straight up toxicity. You know, I spent $4,000 on this smile. I don't really want to wreck it. And it's funny. I was one of those. My whole life is these stories. I love it. When I went and got, like, my casting done, they put that crap in your mouth to make a mold of your teeth and stuff. They're putting it in, my jaw pops. And the lady was like, and she's going through the questionnaire and stuff, and she got to something about jaws popping. I said, well, my jaw does pop. Now it's not going to do it, but it does pop. And she goes, and she's like, well, don't tell the doctor. I said, why? Why? She said, because then they got to go and break your jaw and realign it. And then wire it closed for like several weeks. And then you can have your braces on. I said, okay, I won't say. But it makes me think that it's like, maybe that's how, like, I'm going to chip teeth one day. Is because something will happen with it. But then, I mean, you never can tell, because Benny freaking came up the other day and caught me on the bottom of my chin. I almost bit my tongue. He's such a big galoot, man. Drives me crazy. But he's turning into the cutest little old man, so I got to try real hard not to let him drive me crazy. He's just a little turd, though. He really is. But they're all so loving. My life would not be near as I would not have I wouldn't, I just think of that just hours of love and support that they've given me, you know? And if it wasn't for the critters, I wouldn't know what unconditional love was, because I didn't know what it was when I was a kid. I didn't get it. I don't know. I did not. It was like, I couldn't see either of my parents in me at all. And when I was with mom, she would see my dad's face in me and treat me accordingly. And then when I was with Greg, he would see mom's face in me and treat me accordingly. And they never treated me like I was like my own face. And I annoyed them a lot. My dad was never around kids. And how many dads do that or like that? They're never been around kids. You know, the youngest kid, all that stuff, you know. And then they just like get in a bad spot. I don't know why I wasn't aborted. That's part of the story I never got either. I think because mom was raised Catholic. Is that the reason, Ma? Yeah? You wouldn't have had an abortion because you were raised Catholic? See, that's back when, I don't know. That must have been one of those good clergies. But, and she probably wasn't going to put me up for adoption because she was put up for adoption. So she was just kind of stuck with me. With this little autistic, freaking extrasensory, freaking nacho neurotypical kid that could freaking read people's vibes. Like, I'm all the clariers, man. I stand next to people. Sometimes I gotta step away from them because they just don't feel good to me. They just don't. I've been running my mouth too long. I've been talking over a half hour. I should wrap it up. Stanley has his dental tomorrow. So I'll be a nervous wreck all day. But I'll put more stuff away. So that'll be good. Yep. All in all, things are, I don't know. I'm still nervous as all can. I'm trying to transmute all this anxiety all the time, just be in my present moment and where my hands are. And I just don't know what it is. I don't have the time to sit and look in my chart and I like to listen to people's talks, but I ain't like that to find out which placement it is in me that is making me so squirrely. I just got to stay busy, and then one day I'll wake up and I won't feel squirrely, and I'll feel like, we're back in another routine, because we both do better when we're in routines, and Lord knows I always have something that I can do. We only been here a few days and I already vacuumed I've only had the vacuum since Friday, and I've gone through the whole place twice now and mopped floors and yep. Anyway, so life is just keep moving on, and I'm just gonna sit back and occasionally scroll through the headlines, 'cause they're nutty. Headlines are nutty. But it's just all stuff that doesn't matter. It's just more people's psychologies are dissolving. It's just, the whole Duggar thing is creepy. I watched that from the beginning. It's just, the world has just gone... just hope people just are finding something outside of themselves to believe in. You know, the good stuff. The good stuff to get people curious past this freaking next chapter. Because, man, I think it's just going to be hard to watch. But, I hope I'm wrong. That's what I got for now. Hope